Well, it's the long-awaited Barrie Colts off-season outlook. I know in the comments section, there's a few times people are asking, when will I cover the Barrie Colts? Well, now that we've had some early off-season questions answered in regards to NCAA commitments and the decision made with who's going to coach this team going into next season, I think now's a good time to cover the Barrie Colts. We've already done most of the other teams in the Ontario Hockey League. We only have the Oshawa Generals and London Knights remaining. Of course, those two met in the OHL final. But looking at the Colts this season, it was an all-in year. They had a record of 42-22-2-2 for 88 points. Of course, that would win them the Central Division. However, they ended up losing in the Eastern Conference final to the Oshawa Generals in 4 games. And for this Colts team, the first half of the season, we saw a lot of dominating games. And the best game I felt was the New Year's Eve game at home against the Oshawa Generals. It was a complete team effort from the back end out, and this team looked like they were ready to go on a run. And then January came, and we had the OHL trade deadline. There was a couple of 5-game losing streaks. We had some key players out of the lineup, thinking Tristan Bertucci with mono, and just it seemed like something was off with this team. Maybe it had to do with something in the locker room with the player changes or whatnot. There was also some rumors about some tug of war off the ice with management in regards to analytics versus the traditional systems, and it just seemed like things were spiraling at times. As I felt like this team didn't give a full effort night in, night out, very inconsistent. But then when we got to the playoffs, something seemed to click, especially for the line of Owen Van Steensel, Anthony Romani, and Dallin Wakely. The North Bay line really came to play in the postseason and really helped carry the team at times all the way to that Eastern Conference final against the Oshawa Generals. So now that we've reached the offseason, it's kind of time to dissect and see where this team's going to go from here. So like I said, 88 points was the total they had this past season after 2023-24, where they had 60 points, and it was a first-round exit also to the Oshawa Generals. So Oshawa's had Barrie's number these last 2 playoff runs. Although remember, that was when Barrie was the 8th seed, and they just snuck into the playoffs in the final few weeks there after looking down and out at the OHL trade deadline in 2024. So we saw that this group had a lot of resiliency, and some core players here with their leadership are really showing there, plus great goaltending from Sam Hillebrandt, which carried over into this past season. And then when you go back to the 2022-23 season, they had 93 points, but North Bay won the Central Division that season, and it would be the Battalion who had knocked them out in the second round. And then back in 21-22, 75 points was their total, and it was a first-round loss to the Mississauga Steelhead. So this team was waiting for quite a while to have a team that would go on a deep run. Barrie Colt fans very excited to see that the Barrie Colts going all in with the big trades, bringing in Bertucci at the start of the regular season, Gabriel Eliasson from Niagara. There was the rumors about Colby Barlow. Of course, that didn't transpire. But still, you could get a sense that this team was going all in. And with this way the roster is set, we might be looking at another season where they have a shot of winning the Central Division yet again. Now, looking at the playoff performers from the 2025 postseason, the leading scorer was Anthony Romani, 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. Romani showing that lethal shot that we were used to seeing when he was a member of the North Bay Battalion, but seeing it with the Barrie Colts and up close, certainly exciting to see. Second in scoring, Dallin Wakely. He had 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points. And then Owen Van Steensel, third in scoring, 8 goals, 13 assists, 21 points. And that's like I was saying, that North Bay line really took over in the playoffs. We didn't see much of that during the second half of the regular season, but in the playoffs, those three really came to show what they're capable of. Now, fourth in scoring was Tristan Bertucci, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points. He had a way of really controlling the flow of the game. Bo Jelsma, fifth in scoring, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points. Emil Hemming, really after the World Juniors, started to show he was capable of, especially on the power play with that one-timer. In the postseason, he had 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points. Cole Bodwin, 7th in scoring in the playoffs, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Kayshawn Aitchison, 8th in scoring, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Riley Patterson also had 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. And rounding up the top 10, Grayson Tiller with 2 goals, 8 assists, good for 10 points. Now, going into the draft, they wanted to bring in more offense. So at the 18th overall pick in the 2025 OHL priority selection, They go with Alexander Semensov. He had 21 goals, 55 assists, 76 points in 34 games playing for the Halton Hurricanes. He's a little on the shorter side, but remember, he's only 15, 16, so he's going to be growing and getting bigger as he plays with the Barrie Colts. But still, he's going to bring some excitement when it comes to the offense for the Barrie Colts. And we'll see how it transitions into his first year in the Ontario Hockey League. Still no commitment as of yet from Semensov, but you have to figure it's coming in due time here during the offseason. When it comes to overage candidates, they've got a couple of options here. For the 2005 born players at the end of the regular season, Anthony Romani, he's a Vancouver Canucks prospect, but he did commit to Michigan State, so he'll be going off to the NCAA next season. Brad Gardner, a Dallas Stars prospect, but he has not yet signed a contract, so maybe we see Gardner back with the Barrie Colts next season as an OA candidate. Michael Durbridge, also a 2005 born forward. So Durbridge, Gardner, two candidates that could return next season on the up front. And then on the blue line, Grayson Tiller. We started to see more of his offensive side last season, so I would expect him to be one of the OAs next season for the Barrie Colts. Tristan Bertucci, he's also a 2005 born player, but he's signed with the Dallas Stars. Expect him to move up to the American Hockey League next year because his talent is ready for the pro ranks. So we'll see where his career goes. And then Bo Akey, another 2005 born defenseman. He's an Edmonton Oilers prospect. He is signed, although Bo Akey seemed to struggle at times during the season. I'm not sure if there was lingering effects from the double shoulder surgeries that kept him out from the year prior, or if something else was going on. But Bo Akey was someone that he left you wanting more at times. But when he was on top of his game, his skating is so much fun to watch. He's got the hockey sense. He's got the hockey IQ. It just seemed like there was something holding him back at times during the regular season. And then finally, Sam Hillebrandt, 2005 born goaltender, but he's committed to Ohio State. So it's Ben Hrebek's net for next season. He was one of the more pleasant surprises last year because going into the regular season, the question was who's going to back up Sam Hillebrandt, and Ben Hrebek showed that he's more than capable, and he's climbed up NHL Central Scouting's rankings for goaltenders. And expect to hear his name drafted in June, but he's going to have the crease, and we'll see if with the Barrie Colts maybe they add a backup goaltender, or do they give Jaswell the chance to play the backup? He suited up for a few games during the regular season, but never got to see any ice time. So we could be seeing that situation play out. Now for the Barrie Colts, I think the change behind the bench is going to be huge here. Dylan Smoskowitz takes over. He's been an assistant coach for the last 3 seasons. I had that interview just the other day. I posted it here on the channel. You can see that, talking about his expectations coming into this season. I think it's going to be I think this is a good change because then Marty Williamson moving to general manager is going to be able to focus more so on recruitment duties. He's going to be able to travel and see other players, especially for the draft. Because I feel like the way junior hockey is today, it's moved on from having a coach / GM and for Marty Williamson deciding to go the general manager route. And I think for Smoskowitz, he's got that experience playing in the Ontario Hockey League. He's a former Barrie Colt. He's well liked in the dressing room. So it's going to be fun to see how this all transpires. And I think the big thing for the Barrie Colts is looking for that consistency. Cole Beaudoin, Riley Patterson, Kayshawn Aitchison, those are your core guys that Smoskowitz is going to be trusting to lead this team if they're going to be competitive this season. We've seen Beaudoin, the Utah Mammoth prospect. He'll go through a wall for his team. He's got that drive, that determination. He'll carry the puck to the net. He's got that size too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cole Beaudoin maybe an early captain candidate for the Barrie Colts next year. And then Riley Patterson, he's got that skill set, had some great chemistry in the past with Cole Beaudoin. We'll see where those two go. And then Kayshawn Aitchison, potentially a top 10 draft pick at the NHL draft coming up next month. It'll be fun to see where he goes and what he can do going into next season. He might stick around for a few games at the National Hockey League level before coming back to Barrie, but expect to see Aitchison a part of this group for next year as they challenge for first in the Central yet again. Because when you compare the Barrie Colts to the rest of the teams in the division, we don't know what's going on with the Niagara Ice Dogs. They might be the biggest threat to win the Central, but until they get their situation ironed out, and what players are going to be back and whatnot, it could be between Barrie and Niagara next year, but it's still early in the offseason. Closer to the regular season, I'll do a preview talking about what to expect standing wise. But I do feel this Barrie Colts team, with everything that's coming back, and then you've got Ben Horebic in net, I feel like this team should challenge again for home ice advantage come playoff time. They've got the skill, they've got the players, but the question I know I've been asked is, how does this look for their draft cupboard? Because they did some big moves last year, bringing in those pieces. So when you look at it, there is no second or third round picks in 2026, but they have a second round pick in 2027. That's their own. And then they have a second in 2029. So those picks might be in play if this team does look to add over the course of the regular season, or even leading up to the year, like last year when they picked up Tristan Bertucci and Brad Gardner. They may look to do that again, just to arm themselves and to get this group ready to go for next year. So I'm expecting the Barrie Colts to have a competitive year. Are they the top contender in the Eastern Conference? I don't think so, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out with who returns and what kind of additions they do. But I do feel, if you're a Barrie Colts fan, you're going to have to let me know if you feel the same way. But I do think the Colts should be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference next year. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts going into next season? Do you have confidence in this group going into next year, or maybe they do need to do a bit of a retool and recoup some of those draft picks? But how I see it, I think they're going to be competitive. But let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the team going into next season. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.